TSPN is excited to announce Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. Focusing on the lives, experiences, and viewpoints of motherlode women, the show features a rotating cast of 4 women of all ages and from all walks of life. Quick, upbeat, and fast-paced with a variety of topics, this one-hour show will be aired live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. Tune in, it's Just Between Us. TSPN is excited to announce Just Between Us.
Good morning and welcome to
to our conversation.
And welcome to Just Between Us.
Yes.
I'm Susie from Volcano.
I'm Sandy from Jackson.
And I'm Martha from my own.
Okie dokie. Let's pick 2 topics and get going, girls.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Let's do this 2 center.
Okay.
Okay.
First topic is understanding.
Number 3.
What is one of the key ingredients of being understanding? Self-esteem. Oh, okay.
Number 2.
Here we go.
Oh, this is interesting. What do you feel is the most important issue to remember when you analyze yourself?
We will analyze this.
Ooh, good
But
segue.
before we do that, before we analyze this, we're going to go to a short break. Stick with us and we'll be right back.
Oh my God.
Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. And now back to Just Between Us.
Between us, Sandy, what's our first topic?
Understanding.
Okay.
I don't want to.
What is the key ingredients of being understanding?
I think it's being able to think before you speak. Listen.
Oh, I never do.
I mean, I know it's boring, but
Well, but usually, yes, you do. You have to
Patient.
put yourself in that person's shoes.
Right.
Because sometimes there's a lot of things that I don't understand, but then I think, like when you go to when you are called for jury duty,
Right.
I sit there with that in mind. What if that was me? Would I want the jury to hear, that what I meant, I'm not guilty.
Defense attorneys love her.
oh, they do.
Oh, God, they do.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, that's how I think.
Yeah.
Because I always think, you can, any of us can be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Absolutely.
And then, you can be tagged and like, I didn't do that,
Yeah.
So I always think
Well,
understanding.
you have to listen to all the facts.
Yeah, you have to listen to all the. But my problem is, I'm trying to listen to somebody telling me something, and they're whining about it, and I can't tolerate whiners, and I'm trying to be polite
Yeah.
and keep my mouth shut, which is extremely. I got a T-shirt.
Almost
I love my attitude
impossible.
problem.
Yeah.
And Carrie goes, you always had an attitude problem, and I have, And
But don't you find that is the hardest thing is
Keep your mouth shut.
to keep your mouth shut and listen, and that is the one thing. I think another thing too that's really important is to respect that other person, because what may be really important to them is so minor. And when you get done,
trivial to you.
yeah, and trivial to you. But
Well-
when you get done and you say, okay, I appreciate how you feel, but did you look at it this way, A, B, C? And, it's really not that
Try
bad.
being a boss.
No,
Oh,
thank you.
no. I had a supervise. I found out I hate supervising because I rather do it myself and then have
That's how I
anybody
am.
under me, because
That's exactly
even
how
if
I
I
am.
had to work like 18 hours to get it done, I rather do it that way because I hate supervising because
Right.
they come with
But
so much
when you're
baggage.
when you're in charge of people, you learn that.
Oh, you have to have patience. I
Yeah,
don't.
you learn.
I'm not a patient
to,
person,
to
no.
not really be understanding, but to put yourself in both people's, because there's always complaints
Oh,
about
sure.
so-and-so's not doing this, so-and-so's not doing little petty stuff,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
and it's
I
like,
couldn't be.
okay,
I couldn't.
See,
do
I
what
don't.
you're doing.
I can't. I couldn't do that.
well,
Couldn't do
you
it.
know how I fix it? I said, well, there's 3 of us, and one is not going to be right, and that one's going to have to leave, and I know that that one is not going to be me.
Yeah.
So you guys better fix the problem within yourselves, or, you know, I'm not going to put up with
the
this.
personality conflicts. It's just terrible. And,
but then if the shoe's on the other foot, and you're the one that needs the understanding, you want that person to...
I got the same thing as I gave out. You know, they didn't care.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I found out one thing. When you work in a big conglomerate like I did, you know, especially government, you know, you're definitely replaceable.
Yeah.
I don't care what your rank is, what your job title is.
But today it's different. Today things are a little bit more different.
A little harder.
And in those days, you were gone. That was it. Today, you've got to go through document.
We had to do that because we had civil service protection.
Right.
You know, you just couldn't be fired, but you got transferred.
Sure.
You know, they could transfer you if you were a problem child.
Yeah.
The bosses, the powers that be, did not have understanding. So if you were disruptive in whatever, you know, where you were working, you were asked to train. They would hand you look at the latest transfer.
We need you over here and to pump up flat tires. So
wow, really?
Yeah.
Now it's probably extremely harder now. I'm talking, you know, I've been out of there for 14, 15 years.
So it makes a big difference.
Back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
I think it's still happening because I know somebody that just got transferred.
Yeah, if you're a problem child.
It depends. It depends on the thing.
So now I know the rest of the story.
Sometimes that's true. But
that's the situation. Maybe not.
But it's important to listen and to try to think about what they're going through or whatever.
Yeah, it's easier for me to listen to a person who I'm not extremely close to,
right?
Because I keep my mouth shut then. But if it's a good girlfriend or something,
well, you know that person and you know that personality.
Yeah. So then I'll open my mouth and try to run her life. Yeah. You know, what she obviously doesn't appreciate, but she's polite enough not to say it. But you know, it's like, but I have people who kind of live. I have friends and relatives that kind of live in the clouds a little bit. They don't view reality the same. I'm skewed in reality. And you know what?
It depends in your mood too.
Sure.
You know, if your mood is like at the bottom, you just like
or you've had a lot of pressure and you want to say the heck with it. Like I'm going to say the heck with this topic, and we're going to go on to the next one.
Good.
Pretty good there, huh?
Pretty good. Yeah, I like that. That was very good. I can't think that fast on my feet anymore. My brain just doesn't.
Put your feet up in the recliner and you'll think a lot faster.
Get some blood to my brain.
There you go.
That's, well, I had one. Self-esteem.
Which obviously you have 0 today.
Oh, I've always had. What do you feel is the most important issue to remember when you analyze yourself?
To be honest.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Be honest.
Be totally honest with yourself. And what you have to do is that we all have faults. No one's perfect. Yeah. And some people's list is a little bit longer than others, but I think the most important thing is you have to be honest with yourself and realize that sometimes you are wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And you have that fault, or you've got to work on it, and that's okay. You know, you've got to be able to say, hey, you know, I need to work on this, and I need to be totally honest with myself. And say, you know, this is wrong, and I keep doing this, and I've got to do something about it.
I noticed that I have a lot of traits that my mother had.
I think we all pick up traits from our parents.
And it used to bug the heck out of me when my mom did it. And I actually got, when people came into the office, somebody knew. I says, okay, I have this fault. You know, I said, and when I started, I want you to tell me. You know, because I do it not consciously, you know, and they would say, okay, shut up, you know, because I do have this fault. I feel like I'm a know-it-all, and I try to take over because I can see the process faster than a lot of people. I used to. And
I was gonna say, like, are you really?
Yeah, she doesn't seem like that type of a person.
Like you're smarter than everybody else?
No, as I perceive myself to be. But I do things. I used to do things a lot faster because I could see the puzzle faster. You know, I could see the outcome.
Some people think fast. Some people think a little bit slower. They're
Yeah.
more methodical, and they have to reason things through.
Yeah, I'm not a linear thinker.
Yeah.
I'm a broad picture thinker,
Broad picture,
and
right.
I could see. And I'm also I'm a hypothetical person, and so I could see a puzzle hypothetically going to a certain way to get to that thing.
Let me
and
ask you
linear
this.
thinkers can't. They have to go, like you said, methodical. They have to go through every step to get to the same
Now
process.
let me ask you
that I
this:
was
are you
going
on meds of any kind?
No. Maybe I should be.
Maybe you better be. What do you think, Martha?
Well, when I analyze myself, I know when I'm wrong,
Uh-huh.
you know, and I catch myself. But still, it's so hard to change habits.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
you're your
You
worst
know.
enemy and your best friend, you know?
Yeah.
But I catch myself, and then I try to, you know, especially if I'm wrong. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
You know that feeling, don't
Oh,
you?
yeah.
It's like, and somebody makes you realize you're wrong, and you just go like, oh.
You know
my
what the
God,
hardest thing
yeah.
is, it used to be for me, and it's much easier now as I'm older, is to admit that you're wrong
Mhm.
and say and apologize.
Mhm.
And to come out to do it now, because when you're younger, you don't want to be wrong. You want to, you have this different image of yourself when you're in young, and also I used to be very self-conscious as a kid, you know, because I was heavy and I used to get teased a lot. So that makes a lot of self-consciousness, and so I try to compensate it by always being right and not saying I'm wrong. And I
Well,
find
you put up that defense mechanism.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so now that I'm older, and I really don't care. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know,
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and
And I think it's maturing.
Yeah.
It's being mature.
I have a
because-
granddaughter that reminds me a lot of you, the way that she is.
Is
you
she
know.
on medication?
No,
She's gonna
no.
be, but trust me.
No, no.
I wish
But
I drank.
She just hates being wrong.
I
You
think
know.
that's normal for
I
them.
mean,
It's young.
It's the age.
It's
Yeah.
the age.
Oh.
Yeah, I think a lot of kids, as they start maturing, and some of us mature later in life, you realize, hey, there's no big deal in saying, hey, I'm wrong. You
Well,
know.
look at a small child. If they do something wrong and you go, Jimmy, did you do that? No.
No.
And he's the only child in the room. You know,
Right.
No. You know, so it's a built-in self-mechanism. It's the first thing you start learning
Right,
is to
right.
say, no, I didn't do it, because you're the fear of punishment.
Well, that and failure. Nobody
You
wants
must
to
be
be
a
looked
failure.
at
You know,
as a failure.
She's
Yeah.
in sports, okay? And, I mean, she has nothing more than when she loses. Because,
Competitive.
oh,
Yeah.
my God, just
Actually,
crazy.
that can be to her benefit in the workforce.
When she
Because
gets-
into
yeah.
because that way she has a goal set for herself to
Mhm,
achieve.
mhm.
I never had a.
We're going to pick two new topics, ladies.
Okay.
Okay, free for all.
A free-for-all, and the second topic is temptations.
Oh, thank you for waking me up. I'm still number 4.
We all know that some temptations have harmed some so badly that they lose everything in their life. Have you ever been faced with that situation?
So then you want to take the first free for
Sure.
all? Okay, we'll do that. We're going to take a short break, come back and talk about temptations and whatever. I use Temptations. It's a brand of
Isn't it a
stoneware.
chocolate?
Stoneware.
I thought it was a
from
group
QVC.
that
The
sings.
Yes.
That was good.
Very good.
I thought it was a chocolate.
We'll be back, unfortunately, with Temptations.
Just
Yeah,
Between
Temptations
Us,
is key.
a spontaneous, intuitive, live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage.
Comes.
And now back to Just Between Us.
Welcome back to Just Between Us.
You want to do the free-for-all first
Whatever
or
you want.
temptations?
You girls do what you want to do.
Well, let's do temptations
Let's
first.
do Temptations first.
We all know that some temptations have harmed some so badly that they lose everything in their life. Have you ever been faced with that situation? No.
I don't think so, because I think I know when something can take everything away from me, but there are some people out there that are addicted to gambling. Alcohol, drugs, sexual addictions, different things, and it ruins their families, and I don't think that they realize that until the stuff hits the fan, and
Well, I was thinking about other temptations. I had somebody that tempted me to sell drugs when I was very young, and it was very tempting because
money.
they were going to give me a lot of money, you know, and that was very tempting. But thank God to my grandpa's little voice that follows me around, you know. But those things are very tempting.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's why so many kids that live in the projects, why go to school when I can make more money on the street selling
Sure.
drugs?
Why should I
Isn't
flip
that
burgers?
sad? You know, I really believe that all of us, you know, should listen to our grandparents, you know,
Yep.
because our grandparents are so wise. By the time that they're old, they have been through all of
Yeah.
it. They have done it all, you know.
Well, it's because they gone through the same things that we were going. We always think, well, you don't understand me because
No,
you're
you
do,
older.
because
Right.
But they went through the exact same thing.
Right.
It might be a little variation.
They don't talk about it.
I
That's the
never
thing.
thought that my grandfather's voice was going to be with me for the rest of my
Oh, sure,
life.
sure.
Because every time that I'm tempted to do something that is not right, you know, that little voice goes, Martha, think about it. Think about it. How is that going to affect you?
and your
know?
family.
Well, see,
Yeah.
I had a little voice in my head of my mother going, "I'll kill you."
Ah!
This woman would, if I tried, she used to take out my life insurance policy on a regular
Oh,
basis.
my mother, being Italian, I brought you in, I'll take you
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
That was their motto.
And then after she passed away, it was, "I'll haunt you." And
Oh,
so
my.
But
God.
no, there's a little voice that nags. It's
Yeah.
called common
Yeah.
sense that will nag you. The closest I ever got was overusing credit cards. And
Yes.
then I realized when I was out on
It's
my
so
own,
tempting,
I had-
you know,
yeah,
it's like,
so,
oh, I don't have to
so I
pay for it now.
consolidated
Yep,
and
right.
cut up the cards, and I've never got, you know, I did it twice, and when I was in
Wow.
my 20s, and I go on the second time I gangster slap myself and go, stop it. You don't, you know, be responsible, you know.
Yeah, I think that, but we have seen people that are mature in their 50s and 60s and see them flip and do the opposite. All of a sudden, they do things that you would
Because
never
they
expect.
reverted back to their
Yeah,
childhood.
you would never expect them to do, but all in all, when you think about it, there's a lot of temptation out there, so much temptation out there, and it would be so easy because everybody thinks this is the easy way out. And in the long run, it most certainly is not. It can ruin you for life
Sure.
and make you lose your
my
family.
dad's youngest brother was an alcoholic, and I saw what it. He worked hard. He was a bus driver in Kansas City. However, you know, that alcohol, it cost him his marriage.
Sure.
You know, cost him the respect of his children. You know,
And then
one of
eventually
his
his
sons.
job?
One of his yes, because he got into a bus accident, and it cost him his job.
Oh.
And my uncle would come out even after my dad died. He would come out and visit. Mom says, "Well, you can stay as long, but if you touch my booze, you're out of here." And he came up to my mom and says, "I found your booze. I'm going home now to Kansas City."
Oh, how sad.
And you know, so that is one reason why I don't drink. Is my mother's brother loved beer, and he drank a lot, and my dad's brother was an alcoholic. The fear of alcoholism.
Absolutely.
My dad never drank,
Yeah.
you know, and so that's one reason why I don't drink, because Dad worked in a bar, and they didn't believe in babysitters, so he would take me to the bar.
So you saw.
I saw the drunks in the bars and
The
stuff.
reason I don't drink is because I had tequila shots one time, and that was enough for me.
I did that one time, and
Yeah,
I was
we won't ask where you wound up.
Oh, my
I used to
God.
drink.
No, I
But-
was home.
I used
we were
to
having
drink.
a party at home, and we dare each other. you
Oh,
know,
no.
to have some tequila
Liquor and
shots.
I don't mix
I
that
learned
well.
my lesson.
I
don't dare me, because I won't do that.
Yeah, I used to be able to do it, but I can't drink anymore. It seems like I became allergic to alcohol. I get headaches from it now.
Yeah,
So I
well,
don't know.
yeah, the tannins in the wine.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our first free-for-all. And Sandy, you want to talk about fracking?
Fracking. I saw. I was watching Varney this morning on the Fox Business Channel, and they had a gentleman who's going to be running against Jerry Brown for the governorship, because I understand Jerry's going to run again. I'm assuming, because he likes the job. And he's running on, part of the platform he's going to be running on is the fracking in the state of California. And Varney goes, are California fracking? And he says, yes, we're going to frack. And it's...
Okay, explain what fracking is.
Fracking is, they want to frack the Monterey shelf, which actually is nowhere near Monterey or the coastline. It's down the center, I think from Modesto to Stockton. It's in that area.
They feel that it is enriched.
Very rich. And I'm thinking that let them pull as much oil out of this the state as they can, because it's only going to benefit us. It will lower our taxes because they will be able to get our revenue into this thing. And I was hoping that maybe they'll do what Alaska does and give us everybody maybe even a buck because of all the oil. And I find it really interesting that we never had any discussion about fracking till Jerry Brown came back from China. Well, look at it. China is a potential buyer for our fuel. I mean, oil, because they have none.
Well, isn't it true that the United States has more oil than,
than the Saudi? Than the Saudi,
yeah.
And
the thing is, sure. Have it for sure that the environmental people will take over.
Well, see, that's the thing. There's pros and cons.
Yes.
I feel this, that if you do go in, because they've been talking about it in the Midwest.
In California,
in the
Mideast, the worst of all, you know,
they've been talking
contradict to environmental, which is, you know, I'm glad that there's somebody there to
it needs to be a balance.
But a balance. But, you know, sometimes... You know, environmental.
Sometimes they're petty wise and pound foolish.
Yeah,
anyways,
it goes too far to the left.
Oh yeah, there's. Look at how many people are unemployed in the state of California.
Well, I'm just thinking how many people is going to benefit.
Oh yeah, a lot, because not only in jobs, but it spreads out.
Yeah, and you'd have to build the facilities to run.
We have like what, 2 refineries in the whole state?
Yeah, we used to have many, and now we're down to very few.
But they've actually, in California, fracking has been going on for 20, 30 years, and no groundwater contamination, no earthquakes being set off from fracking. What I found interesting the other day was that they were talking about fracking on some other thing I was watching, is in the state of Kansas, they've been fracking since 1947.
See, that's how
the technology has been there.
That is all energy enriched through there.
Oh yeah.
The thing is that I think that a lot of people's fear is this: instead of using it in the United States, if other countries say, "Well, we'll pay you $10 more for it," then you can do it there.
They have a different geological strata.
Well, true, but they're afraid that we can become like the Middle East and sell, don't sell, do this, do that, and
there's
whatever.
Environmentally ways of building these new facilities to extract oil.
Right.
I mean, it's not the old thing with the oil gushing out of the the tower, like way back when. They have it costs them more, but it's not like the oil companies don't have the money.
But weren't they all upset when they were saying it's going to ruin the wildlife up in Alaska, blah blah blah? And when they put the pipeline in, the animals went to that because it was warmer, and they would hanging around there and the whole thing, and it didn't kill them off.
It scratches their back because people think, oh, Alaska is so beautiful and pristine. Have you ever been there? I've never been up there, but I've seen pictures. In the summertime, it's so swarming with flies and mosquitoes that you can't go out without you being all totally covered.
Wow.
It's so, where that pipeline is, up that tundra is so moist that it's a bug haven. I don't like bugs. And so, I mean, and those poor animals are driven crazy by the bugs. But they use the pipeline to disperse them.
Yeah, but they also use it. They also use it for heat and of that nature. But it's an argument that's going to continue. There is always going to be pro and con, and I don't know if when we talk about government getting into it, I don't know if we're smart enough to regulate and to.
Well, we regulate already whatever oil we do pump out of this thing. I remember as a kid, Signal Hill down there near Los Angeles was nothing but oil derricks. way back
I know.
when.
Everywhere you went, you saw those things that, you know.
Constant.
All the time.
I understand in Texas, they have tons of capped wells down there because they capped them back in the 70s because it was cheaper to get the oil overseas than it was to pump it out.
See,
There's still tons of oil under Texas.
Yeah.
Was it Kansas and Missouri? Kansas has the biggest natural gas reserve or something.
That is just way over my head, honey.
It'll be an interesting
look
argument.
at South Dakota.
Absolutely.
It's booming.
Absolutely. Okay, our last two, kiddo.
Okay.
Another free-for-all?
Another free-for-all.
Okay, Martha, you take that one.
And today's world.
Okay.
Number 6.
What issues do you feel needs to be brought to the forefront and given a close look by our government? Whoa.
Oh,
that's going to be a goodie.
Icky word.
Believe me, that's
government?
Yeah. Hey, we're going to take a short break. We're going to be right back.
Okay, what do I want to talk?
You know what? Just Between Us, a spontaneous, intuitive live television show with topics that are intended to inspire, delight, educate, and encourage. And now back to Just Between Us.
Welcome back. I'm Susie from Volcano.
I'm Sandy from Jackson.
And I'm Martha from Ione in Jackson.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
It sounded like, it looked like you were talking, not me.
Oh, yeah, the camera. Hey, we want our airtime here. We didn't get the camera.
I'm
close up.
Sorry.
Well, she's so pretty. They have to keep it on Susie.
I know.
She's so pretty.
I know. No. I'm just a little bit slow. And
so you have dark hair. I have blonde hair.
Yeah. Well, I made a mistake.
I
colored it and it went too dark. Yes, we have an Oreo. No, mine got too dark this time, so I've got to lighten up because my hair is much lighter and a lot of red in it, and I was just tired of it, and I did a little bit too dark, and so it's got to.
It looks pretty. Shut up.
Okay. Okay, fine. All right, Sandra.
Happy mommy. What is today's world? What issue do you feel needs to be brought to the forefront and given a close look by our government?
Simple. One is that frivolous spending that they have been doing. These parties and all this crap that's going on, that money can go elsewhere. I mean, come on. We need to reel it in here. We need to get.
I always wonder. We complain.
Yes.
We say our mind.
Absolutely.
But what we really need to do is stand up to them and go to their offices, talk to them. Send them letters, call them, send them faxes, send them. I'm an expert. Can you tell?
You don't have to. They listen to your They already want to know what you're doing.
The problem is,
trust me, I'm an expert at that.
The problem is that we supposedly do that by electing people to represent us. In other words,
that's the ones that you're supposed to go and talk to them.
The problem is once they get there, either state, fed, even county, is they forget that they work for us. They think it's talk about know-it-alls. They think, what I don't like is the government talks to us like we're, 5th graders.
Well, they insult your intelligence.
Yes.
I don't let them forget me.
Oh, I did that one time.
Trust me.
I saw one of our senators, and she was whining on camera, and I went and called her office in San Francisco and says she's an embarrassment to women. She's an embarrassment to the state of California. I says,
I say Sandy runs for office.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Well, the thing is, the most powerful tool that you have is writing.
Mm-hmm. True.
Writing a letter is more important because then you have proof that you did it.
The only problem is all you get back is an automatic reply. We received your letter, da-da-da. There's,
No, the most powerful thing you have is don't vote for him next time.
Yeah.
Well, I really, what choice do we have? When they put them in the ballot, I mean, that's who you're going to get.
Yeah,
and if you don't like any of them,
and
if you don't like any of them, I mean, you still have to vote. So you have to.
Well,
vote
you don't
for
have
the
to vote. You don't have to vote for them. You can leave it blank.
But see, that's
if you want to.
Really?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. You don't have to vote for somebody. You can vote for the people you want to vote. But if you don't want to vote for the president or you don't want to vote for a senator,
if you don't know who they are,
don't put it
don't know
down.
their policies or something,
don't put it down. You don't have to do that.
See,
But
some of those things I still don't know legally. You know.
oh yeah,
yeah.
They
I wish they had a box, none of the above. But I check it.
Absolutely.
But, some states do that, none of the above.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that
I forget
amazing?
one state does it.
I'll be darned. That's
Maybe that's something we can bring up to the Capitol.
Yeah, it's but government waste. People forget they're using our money for their frivolous. Is that the right word?
Frivolous.
Yeah. Thank you.
Check out the Mexican telling you how to speak.
Well, hey, I got some Bohemian blood in me. What do you want?
That's cute. You're asking a Mexican and Italian to pronounce things? Yeah, no.
Hey, I'm not a... Anyway, I grew up in a weird household.
Okay, Sandy, enough about your personal life.
But
we're already scared.
I know, as you should be. That they forget whose money they're using. It's our money.
I don't think they forget.
We have to budget.
I don't think they forget. I think that there's a lot of arrogance. They don't care. Because if you notice, the year before election, they come around, oh, I appreciate your vote, blah, 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 this and that. I mean, really, these people insult your intelligence. You just want to say, you know what, please.
Do you know somebody that is honest in government?
Yeah, I think there are honest people in government.
I think they start off, but I think as they stay longer, they might get corrupt.
I don't know. I think there's still people that are...
There might be a few.
Do you know why they become so...
Power.
Yeah.
Power corrupts. And
it's all the lobbyists.
Yeah, the lobbyists, they have their own agendas, like the bridge to nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care what party they belong to.
And that cost how many millions?
Millions. Yeah. I mean, they do their pet projects to get reelected. And now I understand the House of Representatives, they represent their districts. That's why we have so many of them.
Right.
And they represent their districts. So yes, they although I don't since we got the new guy, I haven't heard of him having a town hall meeting here in Amador yet.
Yeah, we did.
Did we with the new guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me ask you this.
I don't even know who our representative is.
Let me ask this question before we go into you got your free for all. You want to just keep doing this?
We'll keep doing this.
Okay, but let me ask you this. A lot of people have talked for many years. Okay, you know I'm coming to split California in half, Northern California, Southern California. Now, people say they can't do it because we have the water, they have the money. Do you think that still holds true today?
Yeah. We still have the water. And the problem, working in the city entity, I knew a smidgen about DWP, which is Department of Water and Power. Every other year, we had access to the Colorado.
Right.
Because we had to share it with Arizona.
Right.
Okay. Now, Los Angeles came all the way up here in Northern California and bought up all the water rights back in the 1920s and 30s, which is why Mono Lake went dry, which they lost the lawsuit after 60 years.
Yeah.
And so water has to go back into Mono. But the water is the most Southern California is just inundated with people. I mean, you can't turn in that. You can't. If you're walking on the street, you're going to get bumped. That's how many people are down in Southern California. From the Grapevine down to San Diego, it's wall-to-wall people. And they're thirsty. And they are not going to vote to split this state.